I guess we can thank Trump for that one. He rugged the Bulls pretty hard. They had a nice turnaround going. Um, Although I do think closed a little bit above the market maker's expected move, a little bit below mine. Just a tap of gamma neutral there, and then a slight bounce into close. Obviously, we have Nvidia earnings overnight, so I'm not sure that where we close here actually matters. It'll just matter what things look like post Nvidia earnings. But we did lose the 5,900 level on ES. Um, just confirming the breakdown and rejection of the retest of the longer term trend there that we failed last week. Um, so this opens up tests to the downside 58.76, maybe like 58.55, possibly further. Maybe a new low. Lower high on the bounce and a confirmed rejection. But Nvidia can turn all that around, so I'd probably ignore the technicals until after earnings, and then if they're still valid, maybe pay attention to them. Yields at the top end of the curve moving up a little today, but not very much. Definitely some bear steepening though. Dixie at 99.9, up about 35 points. BTC down 2%. Some moves in commodities. Gold kind of flat, which is with the dollar climbing a little surprising. With silver taking a bigger hit. Copper down and oil up. Most of the index is about the same. I guess Russell got hit a little bit harder than everything else. So some pullback on small caps. We did get a little bit of a turnaround in correlation, and correlation did not move up or move down as much as our prior low back on the 16th. And breakdowns were symmetric across the 1 and 3 month. So a little bit of a pullback in correlation there as we get closer to the end of the month. We may see some of that dispersion break further down tomorrow. The reason being is I think the MMs are carrying a lot of delta into Nvidia earnings. Obviously, it's highly speculated. Um, there's going to be a lot of long ball there, and that means the MM's going to be short that vol, and if vol crushes, we could see a lot of delta dumped on the single stock side. And if that's the case, we might see volatility pick up on the indexes a little bit into the end of the week. Obviously, be wary of like end of month window dressing, but I think it's reasonable to assume that they're probably just a little bit over long. Bears actually overcame the 5,900 support. No, bears were mostly gone by the end of the day. The bot puts like fucking closed out on the first dip. Trump just said some shit about restricting chip access for China again, um, which is diametrically opposed to the trade agreement. So, yeah, he kind of pulled that one out of his hat when the Bulls were trying to break through 59.20. Anyway, maybe a little uptick in bond volatility, but probably not much. We might see more of that tomorrow, though, with the GDP release. Still not a lot of still not a lot of like out of the money put interest. Correlation between VIX and cash VIX fell a little bit today, so still some short vol coming in. Breadth picked up a little bit yesterday, well, quite a bit. 69.18% of the S&P moving back above its 20-day moving average over the long weekend. Fed fund futures still basically that pricing in a rate cut for September, and we got like a 3% move higher in the bear steepener. Over here, we retested and failed the trend on the daily, and failed to break back above that prior trend there. This is the second failure and a lower high, which means that we can get a pullback here even as far as the 200 MA over a few days, possibly further. given that this is a larger failure over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we'll be watching the 58.37 level, 57.73, and 56.96. Some importance to the 200 MA and the 30 EMA, kind of in between those. I'm fairly close to them though, so I don't want to be too worried about it. And then, this would probably distribute out back around the like 55.80 level. A failure there would be very bad, but I could see it pulling back that far. So there's actually still quite a bit of room to the downside, and volatility is still fairly elevated. I kind of want to see what sectors were hit the worst today. Finance, health technology, I mean everything kind of broadly. Tech services held up a little bit better than most. Electric technology, not so much. Everything else pretty red. NQ. Yeah, NQ kind of looked like shit too. So yeah, we'll see what Nvidia earnings look like. If they're positive, we could recover from this drop pretty quickly. So see what happens tonight. Obviously, pay attention to what they have to say. They're very important earnings. So, and I think that's it. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.